Hey, everybody.
Hey, what's up?
Episode 24 of the Thursday Exchange. I hope everyone's having a beautiful night tonight.
It is warm out for
It is,
sure.
you know what? We need this. It has been
Yes,
so, for months we've been complaining how cold it was. Now I'm listening to coworkers and other friends like,
I'm
oh, it's
enjoying
so
it, honestly.
hot. It's so hot. I'm like, listen, shut
It
up.
is. It is
Listen, we
hot,
got
but
we got like
it is
9
good.
months of freezing weather, you know, in New York, especially where we are in New York, we really get like 3 months of warmth. So
Yeah, well, of like summer warmth.
yeah, it fluctuates because even it goes from one. We don't really have many seasons. People like you have a lot of
Well,
seasons here. It goes from one extreme to the next quickly.
yeah. It's literally like somebody flicks the switch and it's like, spring's done.
Yeah. So, anyways, this has been a very interesting week, and let's
Starting
hit it
off
up.
today. Yeah, there, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was gonna say, starting off, just today we had the solar eclipse at dawn. Apparently, I'm aware of these things. I didn't see the report. My friend told me about it because her friend took some pictures, and I was like, oh, like
Pretty.
it looked really amazing. It looked like a crescent moon, but it was the sun, and it was at dawn, so it was just really awesome.
It's
I wish it.
always whenever they have these eclipses and stuff. People are posting pictures, and I always happen to miss them. You
Mm-hmm.
just set like a calendar so I get to see them. Hello, Stefan. You there? I don't hear your audio. Can't hear you, buddy. I don't know. There's a little bit of a technical difficulty here going on. Stefan. Well, anyways, I hope everyone's having a great night. We're gonna get this fixed very shortly. Hello?
Hi, my mom called my cell phone and it booted me off.
I was wondering. I was like, how am I going to enter the saying this? Do I just talk to myself? You
No,
know?
I'm just like, let me just log back in. That's the only way it's gonna work.
Yeah. So did you happen to see like not the Swift Gear? So did you happen to see the Logan Paul Mayweather fight?
I did not. I don't have a TV.
No, listen, you have the internet. That's all. Listen, I didn't watch it. I didn't pay for. Listen, I'm not one of those people that paid for pay-per-view. We all
No.
kind of knew what the outcome was going to be. Mayweather. It was,
Did he win?
it was like one of those type of fights where they don't really choose a winner, the exhibitions. But let's
Who was
just
he
talk.
against again?
Logan Paul, the YouTuber.
Okay.
He
Tough.
does silly. Yeah, he's ridiculous. His younger brother Jake Paul makes all those really wild, disrespectful videos.
My nephew loves
It,
him.
you know, I can't support something like that because to me, I feel like it's a little bit of a taint on boxing. If you're anybody that's interested in boxing, you're seeing this guy who's literally won no professional fights, Logan Paul, fight the greatest of all time because he's a shit talker.
And did
And
he get smacked?
well, you know what? He put up a good fight, but here's the
So,
thing. Here's the thing. Mayweather is 40 something years old
yeah.
and he's retired. Logan Paul is towers over him. He has a longer, reach, and he's 35 pounds heavier, which he's in a
And
totally
how old is
different.
he?
I'm not sure, but I know he's in his 20s. So there's a major difference, and he still was getting kind of toyed around with in the ring. So Mayweather, you really can't go
Yeah.
against the
There's something to be
quality
said for
of his
skill.
professionalism. I mean, trust me, I'm not like a Mayweather fan. He's definitely not my favorite. The cockiness, I guess, you got to believe in it,
Yeah.
you know, to fight. The greatest of all time have always been somewhat cocky. You go Muhammad Ali.
You have to be. I mean, at that point, you are literally walking into a ring to have someone smash your face. So you
That's
got
what
to have a bit of an
you have to
ego.
be an entertainer too.
Yeah.
And I've been reading a few articles and showing how like MMA fighters. One of the things that Jake Paul has been talking about which his brother Logan Paul fought Mayweather, is how a lot of MMA fighters aren't getting quality pay. Every single time you step into that ring, you are risking your life.
Yeah.
You know, the person across from you is pounding on you. There's a few instances where like professional fighters, their legs have been snapped by getting, you know, calf kicks and stuff like that.
More than a few,
and
I think.
You're not going to be able to fight ever again. This is how you provide for your family. Therefore, these giant, you know, mega wrestling TV things like UFC, they're not paying their fighters like they should be. So a lot of people are going after Dana White now based on that. He's getting millions of dollars while these fighters are getting a couple $100,000 a fight. And why the big premium fights, like people like Mayweather, big shit talkers, cocky money Mayweather, showing he has Rolex, you know, these giant Rolex watches that cost like $2 million a piece. And then you got Conor McGregor, their big, you know, UFC fighter. He's got yachts.
Awesome. He is awesome, though.
You know, but he's a big shit talker. And they're saying that one of the things with the UFC compared to a lot of boxing is there's a lot of shit talking in boxing, and that's what sells fights. It's unfortunate, and
that's why Jerry Springer shifted his show. It's why wrestling became more of a soap opera for men.
A lot of people don't realize that Jerry Springer started off in politics, and his show had like
he had a serious show.
Yeah, an Oprah-esque feel in the early '90s. Yeah, and I don't know about I don't know the history of Maury. I remember seeing about, you know, Jerry Springer, how it started off, and he invited the KKK on, and he's, you know, he's Jewish, and they were using slurs with him and everything. It became like a brawl out. He ended up, I think, getting his nose broke on TV.
It probably had the best ratings of his life.
It's wild, but it's kind of shows you how sometimes chaos and money go hand in hand.
Well, the thing is that, and also it also shows something about people to some degree. We thrive on chaos to a degree, to an extent that, or no, we thrive on violence, I should say, not chaos. You look at Romans, and we used to go like, oh, how could they possibly go to the Colosseum? Now, I'm not saying that watching TV where somebody is getting shot or playing a video game is anywhere remotely similar to actually doing it, but that same basic desire lies within us to watch somebody else be hurt. And so it's interesting, though.
Well, we were talking about the UFC just a second ago, and
yeah,
a few years ago, people were boycotting it because of the sheer violence of it.
Yeah,
people are getting. It's not like a boxing match where there's not a lot of technicalities with like how you fight and what you can and can't do. I mean, in wrestling, you're getting your arms and legs stretched out, your back crack, you know, name it. It's bloody. It's a bloody sport.
Wrestling is one of the most punishing, from what I've heard, like. Just from listening to a bunch of fighters talking, like they were saying, like the wrestling styles, like the grappling styles, are some of the most punishing ones that they have, because you're and same with the jiu-jitsu, you're going against where your joints are supposed to be, and people are just, your knees don't go backwards. Let's put it that way. At least they shouldn't.
Yeah, I totally agree. So I'm one of the people out there that advocate for fair pay for these fighters. I mean, if they're putting on a show and they're entertaining and they're putting their life at risk, and, you know, these networks and these giant companies are making mega money on it.
Yeah.
I mean, these are the guys, they're the content of what you're showing. I mean, it's the same thing as like any other athlete, basketball, football players, they're getting paid good because there's only a certain amount of time they can do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Not
people
everybody
don't realize how short it is.
Yeah. Not everybody's going to be LeBron James or Tom Brady having, you know, decade-long careers. Some people only last a few seasons, and like their joints or their knees give out, and
think about it. If you're like soccer, for example, they slide tackle sometimes. Like if they're playing dirty, or like if they're just trying to get the goal in, somebody slides tackle the side of your ankle, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Just like in football, if you get caught in the bottom of a pileup, they're starting to notice that, like with concussive trauma or chronic concussive trauma, I think that's what they call it, but these people, a lot of them who are having attacks like where they burst into random rages and things like that, they're attributing it to the fact that they have repeatedly gotten concussions that have gone untreated.
Mm-hmm. And that's a big thing that's been coming out over the years with football players, and how damaging, really damaging it is to the brain. But talking back about the Floyd Mayweather, or the Mayweather and Logan fight, apparently their exhibition raked them in more than $50 million. So that 8-round bout, 3 minutes apiece, got them $50 million. Imagine that day in the job. I think I could get my ass kicked for. That's like that other fight that Jake Paul.
But the thing is, if we went
brother,
against one of them, we would die.
Yeah, I mean, Askren, he got his ass kicked and knocked out within like the second round when he fought Jake Paul, and they said he made more money in that boxing exhibition than he did in his entire MMA career. His entire MMA, his entire career in MMA, and he was really good. Getting knocked out in the second round with Jake Paul, like really a non-boxer. And when I say non-boxer, yeah, he's strong and he fights. He's knocking people out.
Training. I will give him that. He has been training.
He's fighting non-boxers, though. Oh. That's like you beating up the kid on the playground.
Yeah, that's true.
He beat up a YouTuber, a basketball player, and an MMA person in a boxing match. I mean, yeah, you signed up for it, so you should have been prepared. But at
MMA,
the same time,
I don't have sympathy for because you go into that knowing you're fighting a different style of martial arts, and like that's why
it's different.
That's why it's interesting.
You know, when he went against Ben Askren, he couldn't. You know, Ben Askren couldn't submit him to the floor like he typically wins fights. Yeah. He had to stand up and box, and
you
have use leg kicks, none of that.
Like if you get against a short person, then you have a guy who has long reach and big muscles and a lot of weight behind it. I mean, it makes it a challenge. It's it's funny that Mayweather was still able to show just like with the skill, like pop him out. I didn't see the fight, but the fact to be able to do that is impressive.
Definitely interesting. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. I think for entertainment, it's also been an interesting week. I've been seeing a lot of, I want to say, quality stuff coming out. I mean, people that watch Netflix, people know I'm a big movie buff. The Conjuring Part 3 was okay. I'll tell that. I'm not going to give anything away, but for those of you who like horror movies and stuff like that, it's a great piece to the franchise. It's definitely not the greatest of the three of them, but there's a bunch of spin-offs. They have the Annabelle movies and La Llorona and
La Llorona?
Yeah, it's like a Spanish movie that's a part of that, and The Nun. They're all these yeah, they're all a part of that franchise. But this one, it's kind of interesting because they're all in some sort of weird timeline. So it's kind of filling in the gaps for the franchise. So that's why I enjoyed it.
What's your overall favorite horror movie that you've ever seen?
Well, it came out actually a few years ago. I really love Hereditary. I think it's a masterclass of filmmaking. He's a newer director. Yeah, one of these days, gotta have a movie night. But anyone who's seen that movie has been pleasantly shocked. And it's one of those movies that got snubbed in the Oscars when the actress of that film should have swept the awards. She was amazing. But because of the gore and the dark, the dark themes, a lot of times horror movies get overlooked in the Oscars. And I spoke a lot about it. The reason I really love it is because it gives inspiration to me, and it should give inspiration to you. This guy's he's not a new filmmaker, but he's new in the industry. That was like his first movie, Hereditary, and it blew up. And
I'm assuming it's low budget, relatively.
Well, I want to. It's an independent movie with a higher budget, but it's a part of the studio A24.
Probably like a million. Oh, so then it's
so it's more than that, but it's what I mean. Considering movies nowadays, like for example, The Conjuring probably had multi-million dollars going into that, but it's just it's a great film. But and then on Netflix, the show Dirty John, they have a season 2 of it that just came out that I think is really awesome, but it follows a totally different storyline. So people who like kind of sleazy dramas about people who kind of do crazy things.
I like a lot of the period pieces that follow that same thing, but they take place in different time eras.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I love stuff like that. What is it, Highlander and
yes, I love
what's the other show on?
There's the Crown,
Downton Abbey.
Borgias is another one that was really good. That one was messed up. That one was really messed up, but it was good.
My fiance really loves Euphoria that's on HBO. I can't watch it, not because I'm like, it's just like, it's too much like in your face. Like, I sound
What's
weird
it
saying
about?
it. It's basically, it's about addiction, really. That's what I get out of it. I mean, I haven't watched the show, but she raves about it, saying it's a must watch. And I hear, I've watched on YouTube some of the performances, 'cause I like to kind of like, that's how people think I'm weird, but I go through YouTube. YouTube's like one of my favorite things.
I love
Go
you.
through YouTube before I watch a show, and I'll watch reviews on it.
Oh,
Not
that I don't.
spoiler.
That I don't.
I don't like spoilers, but I don't like wasting my time. If a show is
No.
total dog shit, I don't want to sit there and waste my time.
Especially now when you pay like, how much is it for a movie ticket?
Oh, it's a lot. But I mean, there is other options out there. Other good movie theaters that are smaller than like the big blockbusters.
Yeah.
That you have opportunities to see movies for much cheaper.
But
I'm not gonna.
there's been a few times though when I've gone to like the nice theater and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great, and then I'm like, why did I do this? I've only ever walked out of one movie, and I don't even remember which one it was. It was that bad.
Yeah, I don't like false trailers, and like not to jump topics, but on films. But there's a lot of movies out there that the studio's like, listen, we're going to rebrand this movie through making a more intense trailer than the movie is. There was a movie with Joaquin Phoenix that came out right before The Joker. It was called like I Wish I Was Here or something like that. I think it was called I Wish I Was Here. It was an independent movie, and the way they edited a trailer together made it look like John Wick meets like a Jason Statham movie. And it looked really intense and bloody. And when I tell you there's like sequences where he's just standing there sitting on the edge of the bed, like staring at paint, he legit
doing his melodramatic.
But that's what happens. And I was just like, this is like the trailers were so false. I had no choice but to be like, I looked over at Alexis and I was like, you ready to get the fuck out of here? And she's like, and it was a way, I just can't sit it. Like I have, like, you know me, I'm a busy guy. You're a busy guy.
Yeah.
When you're so limited with time and you're sitting there and, you're bored out of your mind and this is my weekend, you say to yourself, am I going to waste another hour? And this is what I say to all filmmakers out there. If that's your goal, every movie has a different type of audience. So people thought it was brilliant. It has a lot of rave reviews. So maybe I'm just the odd man out. But think about that as a filmmaker. If you're making something that isn't captivating your audience right away, you're wasting their time. And
yeah, it's the same with
time is very limited.
I used to do the same thing with books, though. Like when I would start to read a book, now I listen to audiobooks. If I listen to anything, I'm not gonna lie, I got kind of lazy with it. It's just easier for me to get stuff done while listening to audio programs than it is for me to sit down and read, even though I still enjoy doing it. But I'll read the first page or sometimes even the first chapter and also the back cover first, just to see, like, can I get through a sentence without wanting to stop? Because if I can't get to the next page and you haven't at least sparked an interest for me to turn the page, I'm not going to like the rest of your book, chances are. Every once in a while, I would get proven wrong, but most of the time, it was just a drag.
That's why it's important, too, to have honest reviews on your book. And this is going to segment kind of into our main topic tonight, because we're talking a lot about freelancers and the gig economy.
Yes.
But reviews are very important for freelancers. People don't know what they're buying and they see stuff. And one of the things that happened this week is, I happen to, I do a lot of things publicly, whether it's the film festival or my book that's online on Amazon. And I also review other books that are like mine, not review, but I observe what's going around. And I see sometimes people write hateful reviews on things without any actual substance. Like it's opinionated against their views, just hate. And I see that a lot. And it has nothing to do with the quality of the book, but the way I look at it is you're deterring someone who might get something out of this read from reading it. Like, what do you like? I guess we'll never have on like
it makes
100% honest people.
Powerful.
Yeah, it is. And it bothers me. I see it on YouTube a lot when filmmakers will submit their trailers to be promoted, and you'll like look through the comments to see what does the audience think, and you'll get some heckler, troll on there just writing nasty comments like, is this for real? What is this garbage? and they're doing that. And these people, a lot of times, they don't realize that filmmaker that made that project might have taken out credit cards, loans. They put their all into it, and this no-name, faceless person is destroying the reputation. I know
it's the
there's
same with stand-up comedy too, because like there's a lot of them that like I've heard. You know, people like to go in and heckle because it's stand-up. Like that's part of the thing you do. It's fun, whatever. But unless it's a crowd work show or an improv show that's specifically designed for that, you're interrupting a set routine that these people have written out and perfected over the course of a couple of years, usually, before they put it into their special. And so by you jumping out and be like, yeah, like
it's the same thing
messing
online,
with
dude.
money.
Like when I tell you right now, like there is a sense of bravery when you put yourself in the public eye in whatever form or fashion, whether you're
Especially
a photographer, whether you're a comedian, whether you're like, you know, a musician, whatever you are in the public eye, you know, or a writer, whatever requires a review, even if you're a chef, you know, you own a restaurant. I've seen restaurants nosedive because of accusations or, oh, there was a cockroach in the restaurant or whatever.
Or
and
somebody
like,
released a cockroach in the restaurant to get back at them.
There's so much insanity, like even locally on a local level. I've seen a local Italian restaurant. It was doing really successful. And somebody had made all these accusations and had their buddies write a bunch of reviews. And literally the guy ended up shutting his doors a few months later because a lot of people would not go to that restaurant. And come to find out, the guy was associated with another Italian restaurant in the same town that had been doing all that. So to me, that type of libel, that type of, you know, nonsense,
that'll come back to you though. I have to believe that'll come back to you, because something like that, like, I mean, people are gonna know who did it.
It's like you know, it's a hard line, and it's that boundary that we have about like free press and people's freedom of speech to be able to say, oh, I had a bad experience. That's great. And that's why, like, when we see things like Yelp that say about the reviews of places, I look up that too. And it, for the most part, people's experiences did happen.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the people without fact, without like reality, and they're just going out there to heckle. They're out there to ruin reputations. They're out to listen. I had my book was released, whether you love it or not. People go out there, give it a 1-star review, and don't say a word. Like, was it worth ruining my? I mean, I guess you hated it that much. You just put 1 star without a reason. I just find that to be bizarre. You went out of your way to do that. Weird. But freelancers, reviews mean everything. Yeah. You have bad reviews, you know, that's why I tell, you know, Anthony and I, when we're doing the film festival, I say, listen, whenever we do this, we need to reach out to the filmmakers and ask how their experience was, and to please go on to Film Freeway and write what they thought of the event. Because all it takes is a few dickheads to write some negative stuff, and your points go down the tube. And we don't want that to hurt our business.
And you know, it's the thing. Oh, I'm sorry, my hair's being all wacky. You know, I look like a rooster. Basically, the thing with the gig economy is that you're relying on your income by what you make yourself. So, like, I work as a photographer. I got one, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I got like one bad star review. Like, it was like a 3-star review on my Facebook page about 2 or 3 years ago from some dude in Bangladesh, or like, you know, somewhere like completely random, no comment, no nothing. And it took over a year to like recoup from that, and a lot of work to recoup from that. And that's just from some douche like in another country being like, I don't like your face.
People don't know this, but there is actually ways to, I shouldn't even be saying it, but there is legit ways to sabotage businesses. They have lines. No, but I'm saying there's paid for programs that are online. You could search on Google where you could purchase likes, but you can also purchase dislikes. Yeah.
I mean, any press.
Can you imagine? Oh, no, it wouldn't be. Like if you put up a YouTube video and someone bought, you know, 5,000 dislikes on your music video. Can you imagine that? You're talking about destroying somebody. or
Or
having a
just
bunch of
deplatforming
people,
them.
someone constant negativity. I mean, these type of things out there, I feel like shouldn't be allowed because it's damaging.
My general rule with social media, and I try to stick to this occasionally when I see something that just really I have to speak about it or I have to share it, and come what may, comment wise, I'll put it up. But for the most part, I generally use it as a policy of I use Facebook to contact people. I use Facebook to do podcasting or live streams or tutorials. And I use Facebook to post pictures or inspirational messages. That is it. Because if I start to engage in all the crap that they want you to engage in, that becomes all your Facebook. That becomes the only thing your Facebook is. And it gets to the point where people are just bickering on your page, and I'll delete the damn thing before I get to that. I don't want to deal with it.
Well, we've had it on our own post where listen, after the show, a lot of people say like, oh, we don't really see negative comments or whatever. Well, sometimes we'll get them in our inboxes. I've had debates last week actually about some of the content I said involving the senator from Florida who basically he cut off the funding for the relief for the shooting victims, and my facts differed from theirs because a lot of times nowadays, depending on wherever you get your news from, unfortunately, has a different viewpoint. And
I mean, it's always been that way, but now that they've all started chanting fake news, it's actually become fake news.
Well, yeah,
ironically.
It was, what I was looking at was more of a left-leaning news source apparently, and theirs was more right-leaning. So they didn't like that. They didn't feel like it made sense. So, it's good to have those conversations though. Sometimes you meet at a middle ground. So that's why I say, like, if you're one of those people out there who want to write a nasty review, like, listen, give maybe the business owner the benefit of the doubt. By, like, let's say you go to a restaurant, the experience was bad. Tell your waiter, ask to speak to the the restaurant owner.
Yeah.
Chances are they'll make it right. For the most part, they'll try to. But that is the moment where the business owner has an opportunity to do the right thing, or say the customer's not always right, and sometimes that happens too.
Yep.
Before you write the review.
Getting back onto the gig economy, like in terms of, because we were going to discuss a couple of the other parts of it. Like, there's been a lot of changes into the way like society is, forming itself nowadays, and because of COVID, a lot of people were forced into the gig economy that weren't there formerly. And I don't know if you want talk about your experience with it, but
a lot of people might not necessarily know what the gig economy really is. And truthfully, like, the gig economy is it's a major part of our economy. And without it, nowadays it would be impossible without it. Freelancers, when you think of freelancers, photographers, videographers, the person that's shooting caterers, these are all gig. They're a part of this gig economy. Yep. They make up for a lot of it.
Anybody who gets married, anything of that nature, like if you need to get something done at a one-time event, you're going to hire a person who's going to do it one time. And that person makes their money by lining up those jobs over and over. And it's freeing because you get to make your own schedule. You get to do things that you would not normally do if you were in a 9-to-5 job. The downside that I don't think a lot of people realize when they say, oh, I'm going to open my own business, is that you are then your own boss. You got to make sure that you actually do the work.
You have to choose. Yeah. Like as you said that, you have to make it out as if it's a full-time job. Yep. Wake your ass up. Like when people say I'm my own boss, I wake up whenever I want. Does your job require you to be in bed? Like, let's get real. And here's the flip side of being a part of this gig community. As a photographer, you do not have weekends off.
No.
That is when your biggest gigs are going to be. So you got to know your field. Like if you're a caterer,
depending on what kind of photography you do too, though, because that was something that I ran into myself, was that most of my bigger gigs, like weddings and stuff, were on weekends. However, I do a lot more local government and small business stuff now, like corporate photography. That's actually, if you wanted to get a job that's more schedule friendly in the photography field, but it's not easy to break into, is going into corporate photography, business, fundraisers, things like that, because people are going to be operating at a 9 to 5 for those organizations, and you're there to cover it. Otherwise, like you said, kiss it goodbye.
You just gotta know. You just gotta know whatever field you're getting into, because a lot of people I know, especially in filmmaking, primarily, they look for gigs because they want open availability. You know, they want to be able to work on this next movie or pick up this next musical or play, but they want to be able to do like Uber on the side. They want to be able to maybe shoot a wedding on the weekend. But a lot of those things require you to work on off hours. You know, working like if you're working Uber and stuff.
Squeeze things in, like today, for example. I'll give you an example of what my day was today. So yeah, I didn't have to go into an office today, but I woke up today, had to run into Middletown for an appointment. Then I had to run home for another appointment in that town, grab something from my apartment, run back to Middletown. This is a 40-minute drive each way. Go to a Orange County leadership mixer to photograph that, leave that, run over to the parking lot and speed my car over to a quieter parking lot so I could get onto this call. That's gig economy.
And that's, you know, like I said, people getting into this, it gives you the freedom to do what you want to do, but it fills in all the gaps so you don't have much freedom. It's very important. But for me, I think, I'm not really a part of this gig economy, but I am a user. I am a user of it, though. I rely heavily on it. So, for example, I am a filmmaker, but I am not a photographer. So I outsource a lot of different trades.
Yeah.
For example, right now I have an editor working on a feature and a short film of mine.
I hire editors too because it's just too much damn time.
Mm-hmm. And with that said, like during COVID, you know, where a lot of things have shut down, fortunately, a lot of these gigs, like for editing, they're piling up. People have tons of work because people are now touching projects they haven't, you know, messed with in years because they're using this as an opportunity for an editor to put them together. But certain, you know, photographers were screwed during this. A lot of them didn't have gigs they could go to.
Think about street performers too, and that'll also segue to our guest tonight. But you know, people who work on street performance for their income primarily, everybody's locked in their house.
Yeah.
Like when you went down to the city last year, I don't know if you did you get a chance to go down there at all?
I haven't been in the city in a while.
Okay, so I went down there back in. The first time I went down was probably, I would say, like I want to say August last year, sometime during the summer, and it was like walking through Manhattan felt like a ghost town with little pockets of movement. It was very bizarre, and I don't know if for somebody who's not been to Manhattan, that's not what it is. Manhattan is a wall of people walking across the crosswalk during a red light.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, and it had to be tragic to see, but it's, you know what I mean? Like, that just shows you how this time period we're in is so unique from many others. And I'm interested tonight to see how it, you know, molded different gig artists and how it really pushed them to, you know, think outside the box of what they were going to do and how they're going to perform.
I think art in general, like a lot of people who are very creative, that creativity is born out of suffering of some kind or some out of turmoil or some sort of thing in their life. Not always. Some people just they're lovers of beauty and they want to create stuff, and God bless. But a lot of people who go into any artistic field, chances are they've been through some stuff. And this year has been a lot of stuff for a lot of people. So I'm kind of interested to see, yes, it's going to have a darker tone on the content, especially like with music and visual art. But I think it may also start having a bit more hope in it now that things are starting to open up. And I'm really curious to see how it's going to influence artwork in general.
Mm-hmm. With that said, I think it's about time we bring our guest on tonight.
Yes, sir. Now, let me just give a quick intro. I met this guy actually a few years ago down in, I think it was in Central Park. I heard this really unique music that I've never heard before. I'm not even sure how to pronounce the instrument, to be honest with you. and I walk over, and this guy's sitting there beating away on the string instrument that I have no idea what it was at the time, and so started taking pictures, and that's how we got acquainted, and we stayed in touch ever since. So, his name's Digiwart, and that's where to one.
Awesome. Well, hello. Oh, let me hang on. Let me change the format here.
Okay.
There you
Hello.
go.
How are you?
I'm good. Sorry about the my webcam is different. I can fix it.
Is there any way you could sit on the floor?
Yeah, it's right now is okay.
Okay. So, there he is. There he is. So, how have you been, man?
I'm doing well.
Doing well. Now, are you still living down in Manhattan or no?
No, I'm in George City, but I'm going to Central Park. I have a MTA subway schedule. They sometimes send my schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And how did you find, like, what's the instrument that you're playing actually?
a Santur.
A centaur.
Yeah, from it's Persian instrument.
Persian. Okay. And is
Yeah.
that your background, I'm assuming?
Sorry, say again.
Are you from, or is that your background, Iranian, Persian?
No, I'm Kurdish from
Ah,
Turkey.
okay. Oh, okay, cool. Very cool. And
Thank you.
what about the music kind of drew you to it?
I'm doing the Kurdish music, like classical, and sometimes I have a background music is the rhythm, with
Mhm.
rhythm. Yeah, sometimes I change it. Sorry
So-
about that. My language is so.
No, that's
No, it's so
understandable.
good.
Sorry.
You're actually doing really well.
So with COVID and everything, how has it been with doing performances? Has it changed a lot?
Yeah, it's I can play like 1 years for the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they MTA they started last month.
Okay,
No.
so do you have a contract with MTA? Is that what you're?
Yeah,
okay.
I have I win 3 years ago is audition.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when I want to schedule, I text to MTA
Mm-hmm.
manager. He's all right. Someplace like Union Square, Times Square, or 59.
Any of the really nice touristy
Yeah,
spots.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
No.
And so that's pretty cool. So for a lot of people who don't know, Manhattan, they have a program where musicians play in the subways and in the parks and things like that. And so are you saying you have to do an audition process to become part of that group, correct?
Right.
Okay, so that's pretty impressive, man.
Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
So are you back out there now? Are you out making music now?
Yeah, I can do 10 minutes. It's like classical. It's acoustic. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. A lot
take it away.
of the people are asking.
Yeah, definitely
Thank
would
you.
love to hear it.
Thank you. Now I'm going to. I think this camera is okay like this.
Perfect.
I have to play this. Okay.
Dude, that is
Thank you.
Bravo,
awesome.
bravo.
That is
I
really
tried
cool.
like 5 songs. Sorry about that.
Very nice. Listen, I was like, in my imagination was flowing. I'm a creator, and at points I closed my eyes and I was like, man, this could be like a soundtrack. Like I could see this in a film.
Yeah, or
I'm not
music,
used
like
to.
from
Yeah,
the-
I'm not used to. I'm not even used to this type of music. So you just opened a world of music I would have never known otherwise.
I'm so precious. Thank you so much.
That's awesome. Now, I mean, what inspired you to start playing this kind of music?
I started like 5 songs the Kurdish, but different. Sometimes I change it.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you write your own music, or are these all
Yeah,
okay?
I have a record studio like that. Yeah,
Well,
it's,
You want one of those, right, Charles?
yeah, I want that. No, it's very nice.
That is a nice setup you got there. You got like a pop filter and everything.
yeah. That's my life. Just the music. Yeah, that's my life. I'm free. Thank
Now,
you.
do you
Yeah,
work
someone.
at? Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So the music, like, it's just it's so beautiful how like it transcends culture, and I feel like a lot of people tonight, like a lot of the viewers are, they're saying how beautiful. You must have practiced for a long time. Bravo. You can tell this
Yeah.
man's got passion. People just love it. Beautiful instrument.
That's great.
People really love it. So, and I can tell you right now, some of the people, I'm sure, have never heard this instrument before.
When I heard that walking through Central Park, I think you were playing down by that Echo Room chamber,
Right.
by the big
Yeah.
fountain in Home Alone, where the kid goes to the big fountain. There's that room where he runs out. He was playing out right in front of that, and I'm just like, what is that? I'm like, I had to find out. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
My fiance just was like, does he play for weddings?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm go Philadelphia is 2 times for wedding.
That's
Wow.
good, man.
That's
And
amazing.
Persian weddings get big, man. They are really big. Because
Yeah,
I do a few of them down in Terrytown. They're like huge.
Yeah, right.
How long ago did you move to the United States?
I'm in life like 5 years.
5 years. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I come 5 years ago.
And are you here permanently, or are you gonna be, or do you have family back home?
You know what? I'm just wait my passport. If I got, I have to go because I miss my family. But right now I can. If I go, I can back.
I understand.
Well, I mean, it's this something like your music. You said you have you have recordings and stuff like that. Where can our audience find your music online? Is it online?
Yeah. I sometimes I put to YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube.
Yeah.
And I think the channel is just your name, right?
Dijwar music.
Did you wear music?
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Do you have albums people could
Yeah.
purchase?
I did myself. It's like amateur in my studio. I got 1 album.
Okay.
That's cool though. You should definitely look into that, man. You've got talent.
Yes.
Thank
I
you
would
very
definitely
much.
like to listen. Like I said before, when I was closing my eyes, I was daydreaming about whatever. I was like, wow, this could really go behind a film and a film score. I could definitely see this in a film, especially the
The
way
Alchemist.
just the way it flows, and it's something different and it's exciting. To me, it gives me new ideas. It's something, for myself, I haven't, experienced. That's the beauty of art.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to learn? I think you mentioned it already, but I forget.
About Santur, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I play like 11 years guitar, and then 6 years ago I off guitar I started Santur. But Santur not easy. But I know note, I know rhythm because I play guitar. That's why for me little easy. But right now I have to more practice for like a drum. Not same drum.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was noticing you were like using it on the strings, and I was like, wow, it's like tapping it like a drum.
They almost look like little slippers on sticks.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, stick. Yeah.
I was gonna say back scratchers.
you can use.
That's awesome, man.
That's right. So like our audience can definitely, they'll find you on YouTube. People are asking, I want to buy his album. Yeah, Dapper Dan wants to buy an album.
We'll definitely share you on our page, like get all your music out there, because I mean it's stuff that people need to hear. That's really cool.
So do you have anything new and exciting planned for this summer as far as music?
Yeah, I have worked from my studio program. Sometime next month, I'm not sure, but next month I start the Center Park again, because right now is okay. The New York is open for the pandemic. It's no problem.
Thank God.
We will see. Yeah, we will see.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to hearing more and seeing more.
Yeah, let us
your
know
music
when your
over
next
time.
performances. Definitely.
Yeah, that's be amazing. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I hope we were saying your name right. Dijwar.
Yeah, this was my surname Karaman, but is yeah, this is YouTube name Dijwar Music. Is the
Dijwar Music.
Instagram is or Facebook. Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Cool.
So
Thank
thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Stefan.
You're welcome. It was good seeing you.
Much
again.
love.
All right, brother.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of the Thursday Exchange. We're always throwing something unique and special, and I hope this was a very culturally opening experience for everyone. And this is some awesome stuff. I'm going to look up his music after the show.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm going to look it up again. So, all right.
All right, everybody. Have a great night.
See you next week.